Okay, the lovely short game area. Most golf facilities, public, semi-private, and definitely private, have a short game area where we can hone in some of these feelings with a shorter stroke. Okay, the same theme that we're having with the range and working on our full swing, I think it's very beneficial to have shorter shots where we don't have to use a lot of body and aggression, and we practice our timing, tempo, and understand how to getting through the golf shot without too much extra aggression and body movement, okay? So I love to come over to a short game area. If you don't have one, well, use your driving range for this, right? I mentioned when we were on the driving range that as much as I think it's important to use maybe a 9, a wedge, or a 7-iron to start your full swings with, I always encourage you to work on half swings and shorter shots like pitch shots even on the range. You focus that way, you tend to get a little bit more out of your practice rather than pulling driver out and trying to makeshift some move that isn't even good to begin with, probably. And now it's not good and it's rusty and we're coming out, we're probably gonna hurt ourselves and we're definitely not gonna get any results from that, okay? So coming over to the short game area, I'm referencing more pitch shots right now, but I think it's just as vital for someone to work on chip shots with only levers moving, right? But with pitch shots, we have a little bit of body movement. We have a controlled distance the club is going back and through. We can start to focus in on different targets. And I think it's a better way to build rhythm and get our mind focused on what golf is, guys. Golf isn't hit ball as hard as I possibly can, right? That's not what golf is. It's hit it close, make less mistakes than the next guy, and maybe you win. So with that attitude in mind, I think of basketball where does Steph Curry shoot when he starts warming up for an NBA game? Does he start with the half-court shot, or is he right under the rim doing form shots? That's where I see him doing that. Baseball people, they tend to start with throws that are close, and then they work a little bit longer out, right? Same with batting practice. Contact first, then learning to send it. So it's that same type of attitude that we have in every other sports, even when we're lifting weights. So let's hit a couple shots here. I've got 3 different pins. You'll see that from the back. I'm just going to go to the first one here. And my goal is to try to get the right distance and see if I can get balls to land close to my target. Okay? So that was a pretty good swing, but it went a little deeper. It's probably closer to the back pin. All right? Very good contact, though, probably because I didn't have a lot of effort needed for the shot. So now I can make that adjustment. And how do I adjust? If I have good contact and my shot went too far, what's the best way to adjust? All right, we paused long enough. It's length of motion, guys. So we want to make sure that our length of motion shortens down a little bit for this next shot. Toned it down a little bit. Oh, okay. So that was a lot better distance. The ball landed closer to the hole. So I have now created the type of shot that I need for this, the distance, the weight shift that I want, even the blade manipulation I can start talking about with better players. You know, but from right here, we'll get a shorter backswing, similar follow through, and that was a great shot, okay? So now, once I get a feel for that, I think this is where the vital practice is early in the season, guys. You know, I could sit there and hit shots to that flag, 10, 20, 30, 40-yard shots, right? And then after I get comfortable with that, maybe move to another one. So I'm going to go at the one that's further back and try to duplicate that first distance, which was a little bit longer, with a little bit more follow through. And that was a good shot. But look at how I'm finishing there, guys. Like that versus your full swing. It's very, very similar, right? And I think taking the aggression out, having you work more on the form and giving you a target, which I hate about the driving range. That's what I don't like. Unless you're pointing out a tree or a green or something in your head, right, you don't actually have a target. And a lot of times with my amateurs and my novices, I'll say, what are you aiming at? And what do you say to me? You say, oh, well, somewhere down there. I'm aiming down there somewhere, right? And when we play golf, we're never aiming down there somewhere. The basketball player's never aiming somewhere near the rim. They're aiming at the rim. We have the focus of our ball we're trying to hit in a target that has certain things that we need to pay attention to in certain places we need to put this ball. It's not just anywhere up there, right? The higher our focus is, the better our focus is, the better our miss will be if we have a miss. All right, so let's hit one more to that back pin. And once again, guys, I'm remembering longer distance because the pin's further back, but trying to maintain the same structure of the shot. And that was another good one right there, okay? Now, what I really like about this is now that I got a feel of both lengths, I'm hitting both of them solid, I may come back to that first target and see if I can duplicate the length of motion that I need and make that adjustment. And we did a pretty good job of that. A little bit shorter on that one, closer to the first flag, okay? But once again, guys, I like to put you in situations where you're using your mind, you're investigating what's going on around you, and you're learning either something you already knew about yourself or getting an understanding of how your body might behave early in the spring, okay? So take your time to use the higher lofted clubs more on the range, maybe working up to a mid-iron, right? And then also get some short game practice in, put a wedge in your hand, work on sort of abbreviated shots with the target, and focus on the same things that are important with your golf swing in this smaller concentrated stroke, okay? So Michiganders, have fun this week. We'll be playing golf, and we might have snow next week. But don't worry, spring's coming and summer's right after that. The summers in Michigan are beautiful. Find your DNA.